morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is your mobility flow coach, Julian Ho. I'm going to bring to you a combination mobility sequence with couch stretches and a little bit of activation. So I love bringing together the elements of mobility to expand range of motion and talk to our joints. Some stretches to really down tempo our energy so we can feel in our yin parasympathetic, more healing state. But adding some movement to it to activate the body, whether it's an isometric movement or pose, or an actual movement where you're moving from one place to another or doing this back and forth angling. It'll help bring it all together. So we'll start off with a mobility exercise, and then we'll go into a movement activation, and then we'll go into a stretch. And that combination of the three will bring about maybe a therapeutic outcome or just make you feel really, really good in your body, which is all this series is about, everyday mobility. Let's begin here on our shins. We're going to begin with just some side stretches to open up the side line of the body, especially the upper body. So you're going to place your one hand on the side and then reach up and over, and you can buckle that elbow and then release. So a little side stretch mobility. So the difference between mobility here and stretching is we're going to dip into a range and then listen to it. How far can we go? And then come out of it. So we're not gonna hold the end range, which is what a typical stretch is. We're just moving through the range of motion and then highlighting which areas and the depth. How far can you go into it? And what's holding you back? Maybe as you go to more reps, you start to sink that elbow. Maybe you can come down to your forearm. Sink down to the forearm. Allow your glutes to shift over your heels. Okay, this last one each side, we're gonna do some grooving. You know I love grooving. So I'm down onto my forearm, and all I'm doing is I'm rotating down, eyes down, and then rotating up. I can use my arm here, the top arm, to open up even more. So hand on head, elbow down, facing down towards your forearm. I can feel this through my QL, my lower back muscles. I can even put my hand here to sink lower. Then I reach up and back. I press myself back up. This is a lot on your ankles. You can roll up a towel and put it underneath your ankle so that you have a little more cushion. Let's do the other side. So I'm side bending. A little tighter, so I'm going to extend my arm further out. Okay, and then turn my eyes down while I'm in that stretch. Loving the rotation. And then I reach up. I reach back. Use the weight of the arm to help stretch open your chest and shoulders. I do it again. Rotate down. And rotate up. Feel the expansion through the ribs. Breathe. Nice. Let's give our shins a little break. Come onto our toes. All right. And from here, we're gonna open up the front body with some hip presses using our couch to help support us. So all I'm gonna do is press my hips forward, opening my chest, anchoring my hands into the couch, and then release. So this is a stretch and a strength exercise. Well, strength is more of an activation. So feel the flexion in the glutes, so my glutes are tight, and then they're relaxed. So we press our hips forward, press our chest forward and up, You can look up. I want those glutes to flex into fists and then come down. And let's do a few more. Press open the hips while activating the glutes. 2 more. Press, feel the stretch. Push your hands into the couch. Belly button pulls forward and down. Last one. Glutes nice and strong. Beautiful. From here, we're gonna go one more motion, okay? Now the motion here, you're gonna fold forward, down towards the ground, forward arms on the floor, okay? It's just a nice little rest position. And then you're gonna rise up and pull back. Very similar activation in the glutes, but now we're going to that full flexion, coming down and coming up. Okay, so I have a few variations. Let's go through a few reps. Here we go. Come on down, elbows towards the ground. Just control it, not just the thump down, and then rise up. For me right now, it's the morning, so it's a really good time to do some slow body activation, just getting our mind and body online on the same program. And rise up. So as you lower down, you want to use your core, but also your legs are going to contribute, which are your hamstrings. So the back of my legs are controlling my pace as I come down, and same with my glutes. So we're activating. Muscle activation is so crucial in the morning because what it does is it brings the nervous system and the musculoskeletal system online, at the same line of thinking. It harmonizes them so that when you reach for your morning coffee, your brain is telling you to reach out there, and at the same time the hand that you reach for reaches towards, let's say, the handle of the cup as opposed to the hot end of the cup. So there's this intellect mixed with reaction. Your mind is online and your body is online. Okay, let's add 2 more. This time I want you to hinge forward and then glide your arms forward and hold. Now you might tip forward, but you're gonna try your best to scoot your hips back, reach your hands forward. You're gonna feel a little bit of heat in the back of your legs. Make sure you Superman yourself out and then rise up. Squeeze the shoulder blades, pull the head back, retract it back, and we'll try one final go. Hinge, Superman the arms. Arms reach as high as you can. Turn your palms up. Hold it here in a level of uncomfortable. You can do this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rise up. Clench your upper back muscles tight. Pull your shoulder blades down into the back pockets. Thrust the hips forward. Activate the neck muscles by retracting your head back and release. So we just turn on our muscles in the back of our legs, our hips, our upper back. Very good. Now let's go to the couch, okay? So we did a lot of side stuff, so we're gonna continue with that. I'm gonna take one leg forward, forearm on, and for side purposes, camera angle purposes, I've created this lizard position on an angle. Typically I would just do this myself this way, but you can't see my leg, so just join me. Forearm on, left foot forward. The trail leg is going to be my lizard tail, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to turn sideways and just hang out in this, what I call a lizard stretch. So what I'm doing is propping my shoulder down, elbow digs into the couch to leave my spine in a tall position. So the taller I am in my upper body, I want to create that space. The more space we'll be able to create throughout the midsection of our body. Now let's talk about the lower body. The lower body is set up, but it's kind of like a sling, like a hammock. It's is just hanging. My hips are just hanging down. So I want you to feel that sensation of your hips just hammocking down. And just breathe. This is a great stretch for the side of the body. We got into it during our mobility side to side, but this is where we really get that deeper stretch. You can angle and turn our chest down. Oop, just got a crack. The cracks are actually okay. They're just the body's responding of getting from a little bit of misalignment to alignment. You can also see it as the pop is within the joints. It's this quick repressurize or depressuring of liquid in joints. It's hard to, it's like, let me think about this. Yeah, when you shift something that's in a pressurized space into an alignment, it goes pop, and it kind of moves back in, just like a click of a lid on a coffee cup, since we were talking about it. Okay, wow, that is an opener. Now I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. So, taking my left elbow, placing it on the couch, right foot, the opposite foot forward, and then the trail leg is behind. And then I go sideways. And I just hammock here. I let my hips sag down while my upper body is propped up. And again, if we were to do it without me, you're just gonna square up against your couch, at the edge of your couch, and just let your hip sag down. It's nice doing it on the couch because you have that softness. And just relax. Take a look at the outdoors. Feels really nice. Again, allow the body and the spine. Right now, the hips, the lower back area is sort of decompressing. It's lengthening naturally with some gravity. What you're doing is creating some workspace. Maybe over the nighttime, you were scrunched up in one position. This is a good chance to really give your body a rebalancing act. All right, there was our one series, okay? That was really good. So for our side body, really loved it. Now we're gonna go into some hips, some hip flexors, some front body, and then for the third series, we'll go to the back body, okay? So we just did the side, let's go to the front body. So our hip flexors, I'm gonna angle out this way, going right into this on your marks position, and right away, I feel that really nice stretch in my hips, in the top leg, my left leg. I feel it in my groin. Okay, so mobility-wise, we're gonna shift into a lunge series. So from here, we go upright your body. Okay, reaching up and back. And then from here, you're gonna tuck your back toes, and then we're gonna go even further into it, into a high lunge. And then we're gonna pivot our back foot inwards, and then we're gonna hang up here. All right, so I've just added external rotation of the knee, internal rotation of the heel to then talk to my groin. You can feel it right now. And we go back to the start. So just slowly showing you the poses. We're gonna flow through them a little faster. So down position first. Upright your position second. You can use your hand on your thigh. Third is the reach back, getting the myofascial line, not just through the lower body, but now through the ribs and the arm. It's like stretching out a onesie. You're not just stretching through the belly button region, you're using now the arm to stretch out the onesie that is your skin and your myofascia. And then we tuck our toes. Number 4, lift the back knee off the ground. Just a little bit of strength here required. And we take a rest, and we pivot the heel inwards, and you just hold. You can place your other hand down, feeling that groin stretch. Let's try it one more time. Another mobility sequence. We come down low, kneeling tall, reaching up, going to the hardest version. Overhead, tuck the toes, hold, and you straighten out this back leg. Then place it back down, hand on the floor, pivot the heel in, hold, and breathe into the groin. And we pivot over to the other side. All right, now you might be able to see this maybe a little better. Okay, same thing. Low position, both hands on the ground, foot is wide to the outside edge of the mat. Okay, position 2, upright, nice and tall, changing the angle of the stretch. Okay, talking to hip flexors. 3, reaching up and back. You can use your hand to push so that your torso ribs don't flare forward. They can drift forward, but not too much flaring. And then a little bit of strength. Same height, my head stays at the same height, my arms reach overhead, but it's in the straightening of the back leg. And then down, place the knee down, one hand on the ground, and let the heel pivot in. And it's just that small movement that changes things ever so slightly, but for much grander feeling. Let's do that sequence 2 more times. So I start down low, just getting my hips in. Then I go upright. Then I reach one hand up and back. Onesie, stretch through the hand. Then I go both. Back leg straightens. Ooh. And then I come down, bring the heel in. And I just keep an eye on my knee in front so that it doesn't buckle in. I can even pull it apart, which adds even more to it. Wow. And we go one more time, guys. Here we go. Low setting. Medium setting, upright yourself. Medium height, reaching overhead. All you got, straighten up the back leg. And lower down, heel turns in. Oh yeah, good combo here. All right, and bring ourselves back to neutral. I want to shift forward and back just to bring some balance, not just now in the hips, but now in the back side of the body, because we really work that as well. Okay, and let's hold our hip flexors open. We're gonna go jump into a stretch actually. So this is the upward facing dog, or you can say cobra. So we can go into a high setting like this. We can come down onto the forearms for a lower setting here. Okay. And just hold. We just want to breathe and get into our, maybe more of our Zen state, our ability to be in the calm and be still. And in this, you don't want to slouch your shoulders. You want to press firmly down so that you create this really great structure in the upper body, this strong frame. So the stronger your frames, the more whatever happens within the softer tissues or structures then receive security. You know, then they have a place to ground into and anchor with. So in this case, my arms are strong, my shoulders are stable, then that allows my hips to sag and really allows them to melt down and just kind of relax. It's like the stronger the anchor, the roots of a tree, the more the tree can grow high and the more it can withstand the sway through the weather, like the wind and other things. But it's all about having this, establishing a strong foundation. Okay, let's push back from that. Give our lower back a little bit of a release by going into a child's pose. It feels really good on the lower back to contrast. Going from a hip opener to then a hip closing. Great for the rush of blood and nutrients. Coming in with new, out with old. All right. Now let's get into some movement. So with our movement here, we're going to talk to the hip flexors. So all you're going to do is sit on your couch. It's rather simple. It's a leg lift, but I need you to sit at the edge of your couch, hands propped down, and you're going to lift your legs. So bring your legs forward first, and all we're going to do is lift them and lower them. It's so simple. It's so simple, but it is very effective, and you'll feel it. You'll feel fatigue. So contrasting going from movement, stretching, so mobility, then a stretch, into some movement to talk to this flux and flush of chemistry. Okay, so we're doing some biochemistry right now. Lifting our one leg at the same height as our couch, sitting tall, you'll feel your quad flex and then release. And then just to give in some anatomy, your hip flexor is not just your hip. You're also talking to the quads, the front of our thighs. So those muscles flex the hip. They help fold it at the crease. It helps bring our leg up towards our torso. It helps bring our torso towards our legs, closing the angle at the crease. So let's try 10 leg lifts. Being as tall as you can, try not to round the lower back. Up and down. Up, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Okay, now we're going to be doing knees to chest, a little core exercise. Okay, so you can hold on to the edge. You're going to lean back. You can lean back to the point where your head hits the edge of the couch if you have a couch like that, but there's space in my back. So I'm not gonna slouch into my couch like this, which is very common. We're gonna be really erect, okay? So really strong. My head and neck are supporting me, but I can also place my hands on the edge. And from here, I'm gonna take my legs out and I'm gonna bring them in towards my chest. If this is too uncomfortable, you can sit upright. You don't have to use the back of your couch. And we bring our knees in and out. Let's try 10. 1, 2, 3. Feeling my abs. 4, my hips. 5, 6, 7. A little bit of tremble is good. 8, 9, 10. All right, very good. So just some heat to bring in. We're not doing a workout, we're just activating. So we're gonna turn on the system. So you're gonna feel warm in the body by the end of this, but also loose and open and more in tune. All right, so that was our second series. Let's move on to our third series. We're gonna go to the glutes. All right, so our mobility is on the ground. And you know you've seen this with me before. These are knee circles, okay, to open up the hip joint and the backside, okay. So let's get into that. So you want to be in all fours position, pushing the hands down. From here, I'm going to start with knee circles, bring my knee towards my elbow, then up high towards the ceiling, then back towards me without letting it droop down, and then as I come to the midline, I come swooping into center. elbow, ceiling, back of the wall, back of the room, and then down to center. Now I'm not buckling my elbow, I'm not moving with my torso, okay? I'm just moving with my leg. Here we go, let's try 5 circles. 1, getting bigger and bigger with each one. 2, a little bigger. 3, raise it up. 4, expanding the range. And 5, very good. Let's switch directions, same thing. 1 to 5, progress the height of your knee circles and also progress the speed by slowing down. Here we go. 1, bigger and slower. 2, 3, bigger and slower. 4, 1 more. 5, yes, all right. Let's switch to the other side. I'm gonna switch so you can see my camera angle. So 5 in one direction, knee to elbow, knee to ceiling, knee to the back, and then knee swiping back to center. Let's go again, a little bigger, slower. 2, 3, 4, really big, and 5, get up there, yeah. Gather yourself, let's try again, this time the other direction. Back, up, and forward to the elbow, and again, 2, 3, really big, 4, slower, get into the high spots, the uncomfortable corners. 5, up and back and forward. Very good. Okay, I want to add another exercise. These are hip dips, so I'm going to show you in this angle. I'm going to walk my knees over to the left side of my mat. I keep my hands exactly where they were before. My knees are bent at 90 degrees. My hips are also bent. This is called a mermaid, okay? Or merman or merhuman. I'm gonna droop my hips down, keeping my arms straight, and just holding this upward dog kind of position. And then I droop and lift back up. So I dip my hips down towards the water, and then I lift them right back up. So I'm just letting my side pocket come down to the mat. I keep my frame really strong, my eyes forward, and then come back up. So this is a great one for the QL. So we're talking to the glutes, the glute meats, and yeah, up to the QL, the lower back. Dip and rise. Dip and rise. So movement and rise. Dip and rise. One more. Dip. We're gonna stretch. You're gonna take your left hand, you're gonna reach as far and paint the floor. Bend your right elbow and then bring your chest towards the ground. And we're getting a really nice stretch here. It's gonna take sort of a Spider-Man style hold where I'm holding and hovering my chest over the ground, and I press back up. I lift the hips off. Okay, let's switch sides so you can see. Knees go over to the side of the mat. My hands still stay framed to the edges of the mat. I'm gonna keep my knees at 90, hips at 90 degrees, and let my hips dip down, but keep my chest forward, eyes forward. Ooh, that is a nice stretch. I lift out. I go again, dip, torso tall, and rise. Dip. And rise. Let's try 2 more. Dip. Rise. Dip down. Very good. Okay, from this position, I'm gonna go into a bend of the elbow and a paint and reach, extending myself bring my chest down towards the ground. I breathe into that stretch. However, if that's too much, you can lay down on the ground. It's totally cool. But I do want to push my hips away from the hand away from the hips. And I rise up. Center. Very good. All right. Let's go to the couch. We're going to be doing some bridges. So you're going to angle yourself. So typically you would just go straight up on your couch, but because I'm here with you, you may not be able to see my position. So I'm just going to show you what you could be doing. My head might get chopped off from this video, but essentially you're going to place your heels on. Shoulders are crucial in this exercise. So the more your shoulders and the back of your arms push into the floor, the less your head and neck are going to have to take on the weight. Okay, so it's very important that you counter the press of your hips up with the shoulders and arms pushing down. Okay, counterbalance. So here's what it looks like. I'm gonna press up into bridge, activate, hold, toes are up, hips are forward and up, and then I come down slow. So hopefully you can still see my head here. Can't remember the angle that I set up the camera, but let's just stick with this. All right, I was gonna go sideways, but nah, let's just go with this. All right, pressing up. We're gonna go 9 more times. Hip press up and down. Shoulders pushing down and up. 7. Down. Feels good to warm up that lower body. 6. 5. If you find yourself sliding away from the couch, just wiggle yourself back down. We want 90 degrees here. 90 degrees in the ankles. Up and down. Not a workout. Just movement. Dipping into the uncomfortable and then coming back. I think of it as the beauty of doing cold water finishes when you have a shower. Really good for the nervous system. It feels uncomfortable, of course. So you start with a nice long warm shower, hot shower if you want, and then you finish off with a cold water rinse. Let's go one more time. We're gonna hold and press for a little longer, for 10 seconds. 10, keep your hips up, glutes are firm. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes. All right, take a moment to rest. We transition, and we're gonna go into a stretch for the glutes. So we can do this in many ways on the couch. We can go into the pigeon, the classic pigeon. We're gonna try it this way, sideways. So you're gonna have to hog the entire couch. So you sit at the edge. And this is a much more accessible way of doing this. Okay, so I'm gonna go sideways because everyone's hips are a little bit different. So I'm gonna go sideways. I'm gonna put the outside of my foot, so the ankle, on the couch. And my knee is gonna bend in different angles because that's gonna change where we're gonna feel this. So the glute is a large muscle. We wanna touch into different angles to hit different parts of the glutes, okay? So once I'm here, my bottom leg is like my rudder of a boat, okay? So if I'm really tight and inflexible here, very restricted, which is also an okay thing, it's just your body and your behaviors, you can bring it forward, okay? And you might just have this range, but because we have a couch available, you can use your hands as ways to help pull you in different positions. Just like you're rock climbing, think about where your hands can go to help you give or gain more leverage. So you could also bring your leg further back. So it's very beneficial to have this depth available to me. All right, and then from here, I can now do the same thing, but I have more motion here with my torso. So it's really up to you, the setup. We're gonna start with our foot maybe 1 foot away from our hips, our belly button. And I'm gonna flex my foot so that I don't point the toes. So flex here to just give my knee some protection, some stability. And then I'm just gonna lean forward. I'm gonna hold that position. I can just let my leg just drape down. Let it relax too. And the more I wanna get into this, the further back my knee is gonna go, and the further forward I can lean. But because I'm in this angle, it doesn't really give me too much flexion here at the torso. I'm just gonna hold here. It feels good because it's not just something I can just dump into or just flop into. It's one that I have to work through with my breathing. So I know that there's more range available, but I'm not gonna forcefully push myself into it. I'm gonna breathe into it. And knowing that on the exhale is when I can see, knocking on the door of this stretch, seeing, hey, can I go deeper? Is that okay if I come in a little more? That's the exhale. Asking permission of the body. Does it like this? Is it gonna let me go deeper? Nope. It's like, that's it. That's all we're gonna let you. Maybe over time, some breathing is just gonna allow the system to relax even more, and it's not even gonna be a question, it's just gonna be a natural invitation to it. So that's where the body awareness and mindfulness come into play. That level of practice, being able to feel and listen, observe, witness, is what's gonna help transcend your relationship to your body. All right, from here, I'm gonna bring my foot a little closer in, okay? And I'm gonna change the angle. Instead of going towards my big toe, I'm gonna go over my shin. And from here, I'm gonna use my back leg and extend it further back. And now, enjoy. So each stretch, not too long, maybe 30 seconds or so. The main area of concentration is your breathing. So breathing in, 2-3 seconds, breathing out longer. Let it out on the breath. Let it all out. And I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna bring my heel even closer in. Coming slightly off the couch is okay too. I'm gonna scooch a little deeper onto the couch and then angle my chest towards my knee. And stretch there. I can totally change it up. If you want harder ground, of course, you can come off the couch onto the ground. So now we're in a closed angle. The heel is right up into my crotch area. My sternum is over my knee, my thigh. It feels really nice on the glute max. All right, let's go to the other side. 3 directions. So I turn, I place my back leg down, letting it droop or drape down. I'm open into this stance here with my knee not as flexed, okay? And then I lean forward. I can use my couch here to pull, but breathe through it first. Exhaling, going a little further in, pulling the chest towards the heel and big toe, so not just down towards that empty space, pulling it forward. The more we lengthen our rib cage, We lengthen and we re-angle our lumbar spine, our lower back, setting it into a really healthy neutral position as opposed to a rounded tucked tail position. We want to be able to get our pelvis in a position that's called an anterior pelvic tilt, which gets you more into neutral as you go into this stretch, because naturally the body, pelvis, wants to go into a posterior tilt. So we want to see about pulling our belly button forward, keeping it open. I always use that as a thought. Can I keep my belly button open? If it's closed and squished, that means you're closing down. So we open up. This one's the most potent for me. I can feel this a lot. All right, I back off. I close the angle just a little bit. Okay, now I bring my chest towards my shins. Oh yeah, that is a nice opener. This feels really good after yesterday. I did a lot of mileage, did a long run, and then did a running workout, and then walked all over. I'm right now in Brooklyn. This is my friend's apartment. You can see the beautiful background. And yeah, I walked all around Manhattan. I did the MoMA. Okay, just appreciate art, you know, open my eyes and really let that art infiltrate my emotions. Okay, now we're gonna go into a tucked heel, okay? And the leg can still drape off the edge of the couch, and my knee is now pointing forward. So I'm gonna angle my chest towards my kneecap. My sternum is gonna fall right over my thigh, and my heel is right up into my crotch, okay? I'm just closing down. You may not feel this as much, or you will, it depends. Your body's different from mine, so we'll feel things in different ways at different intensities. And just be okay with that. The narrative of our body is conditioned to want to be a certain way, look a certain way, perform a certain way. And these preconditions, these stories, these constructs that we've been told have been from the outside. They're not from the inside, not from ourselves. And so your desire to be a certain way, to feel a certain way, to look a certain way, I want you to really dive into that with this last little bit of, I guess, meditation. The stories that you tell yourself, the stories that tell you what's right and what's wrong, what's good and what's bad. Just pay attention to that and see where it comes from. Take the moment to ask yourself, if I want to lose weight, or if I'm on a journey to be more flexible, where is that coming from? Yes, it could feel good, but the continuation of it, how much is good? Is it because people have told you that being more flexible is good? Or maybe being tight and restricted is not good? This is a good chance to hear about your embodiment and your embodiment story. How have you arrived to the place that you are at right now in your body, and what are the stories that have gotten you to this point? So that is your homework, to really listen in and tune in to the source of why you do what you do, why you feel what you want to feel, why you see what you want to be seen as, why you desire to move in the way that you want to move. Ask yourself those 3 questions and maybe journal them. Thank you so much for partaking in my combination hybrid of mobility, movement, and stretch. This recipe is a great recipe to take with you as a movement snack. You can do a series just like I showed you. We did 3 series today, and you can pick each and work on each of them depending on, again, how you feel, how you want to be seen, and how you want to look, and also how you want to move. Okay? Enjoy the day.